Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sincerely Self podcast. I'm so excited today. We are joined by Giovanna Silvestre. She is the founder of the activewear brand Confused Girl in the City, and she's also the author of the upcoming book, Confused Girl, Find Your Peace in the Chaos. So, Giovanna, tell us a little bit about you.
So I am a California girl, born and raised in California, but I'm actually from a pretty small town. It's called San Luis Obispo. It's on the central coast of California. And my parents had an Italian restaurant. My father's from Italy and my mom's Irish American, which is really funny because a lot of people think I'm from the East Coast because that's a very East Coast mix.
Hmm.
Well, from California but grew up working in my parents' Italian restaurant. And I think that's where I got my entrepreneurial side
Hmm.
from working there and, child slave labor. No.
Witnessing all the things and helping out growing up.
No, I'm joking. I was pretty spoiled, but we all did work together, which was
Hmm.
really kind of awesome.
Yeah.
And I came to Los Angeles to go to USC, graduated in international relations and a minor in global business. And then I was like, I'm going to work in the entertainment industry. So, I mean, at that time, working in the entertainment industry was the cool thing to do.
Hmm.
It's what everybody wanted to do. I would say LA is different now. A lot of people work in tech and different industries, but back then it was like entertainment and it had such a fun networking world. And, you were constantly meeting with people and going out. So it was very social. So I
Hmm.
did that and I got really far up and I worked on some really big movies and I worked for some really big celebrities. And but then I just got to this point where I'm like, do I really want to do this for the rest of my
Hmm.
life? Like I've invested now a few years. Is this really what I want to do? Because, once you like look behind the curtain, it's not so glamorous and great. And you have to deal with a lot and you have to deal with a lot of ego, a lot of narcissism.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And I noticed the women in it that had been in it forever and were really successful, they were so hard. And I just thought to myself, I don't want to be like that. I'm a sensitive person. I like being nice. I like being sunny. I
Hmm.
don't want to have to harden myself to survive in this industry. There's like other things I can do in this world. I don't have to do this.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a break from this and I'm gonna go back home and I'm gonna see if I want to take over my parents' restaurant. So I go back to San Luis Obispo because it's a restaurant that does well and it's established and it's kind of like, you feel this pressure too to take over the family business and continue the legacy.
Hmm.
So I go home and then I ended up meeting this guy while I was working behind the bar and like the old fashioned way. This was before online. This was like a couple years before online dating. So people met in person
Hmm.
and we started dating and we dated for 2 years, almost 2 years. And I was working at the restaurant for 2 years, getting ready to take it over. And then again, I just like hit this wall and I'm like, is this what my life is gonna be like? And maybe for somebody else that would be their dream to have a restaurant and then, he was a great guy too. I mean, we would have gotten married and had kids and done the whole thing, but that I just felt like that wasn't right for me. That it wasn't the right time. Nothing about it felt right. It felt like I was trying to make myself believe in this life that I didn't believe in and that I didn't want to be in. So it was like,
Hmm.
it was almost as if I was an imposter in my own life. And I was just going
Yeah.
through the motions, if
Hmm.
that makes sense.
Yeah, you just weren't feeling like in place where you were.
Yeah, I felt no connection to myself at all.
Hmm.
Negative thinking kind of spiraled out of control. So I just abruptly, I was like, I can't do this. I broke up with him and I left Los Angeles and I came back. I left San Luis Obispo, left the restaurant, came back to Los Angeles. And I was just a broken person because what I had done and what I realized, and we all kind of do this to a certain extent, is we place our self-worth in things outside of ourselves. So
Yeah.
we place our self-worth in our career, And if the career is gone, then you feel like you're nothing. You don't know who you are. You don't have an identity.
Hmm.
I placed my self-worth into what I was doing for my career. I was placing my self-worth into my relationship with my boyfriend. But I had no internal self-worth. It was just my self-worth was scattered around all of these places. And when that was gone, it was like, I'm not worth anything. And so I fell into this, deep depression where my negative thinking was spiraling out of control. And I just go, okay, I have to change this. I have to change the way I think. I have to change the way I feel. And I need to reprogram myself because if not, I don't want to be here anymore because I don't want
Hmm.
to be feeling like this anymore. And I did realize that I wanted to feel, my goal was I want to feel good just because I exist. And because I'm a good person, I'm not a bad person. I don't want to feel good just because I achieve something or because
Yeah.
of a new relationship or because of a new car, a new purse or whatever it is, I want to feel good about myself just because.
Hmm.
So I started making that my goal. And I write about this in my book, like all the things that I did to like get to that point and get out of this depression. And then once I was able to do that, it was like, okay, well, who are we? Because now you're kind of this baby again. You kind of rebirthed yourself and you're
Hmm.
no longer identifying with what your identity was, which was all of these other things. So now it's kind of like, okay, well, whoa, who are you? What do you like? What do you don't like? Because a lot of times we like what we're told to like, but it's like, what do you really like? How do you really feel? What do you really want in your life? Not
Yeah.
what other people want, what you want. And and so I just kind of went on this whole discovery of myself. And I actually started this video blog on YouTube. And granted, this was over a decade ago. So I probably would have done a podcast like you if it was now, but
Hmm.
then it was a video blog. And I did one new thing every week in an attempt to figure out who I was, why I was here, what I was doing, and to unconfuse myself. And it was so cute because actually in the first episode, I was like, I hope by doing enough things that don't lead to anywhere, it leads to somewhere, which is actually pretty profound. And it did. And it totally did. Because it's funny when you do things and you put yourself out there and you try new things, you discover yourself, you gain confidence, but also you open up another part of your brain. Another part of your brain gets activated. And that's where inspiration comes in. That's where ideas come in. That's when you get that like, oh my gosh, I got to do that. And then things just start to take off. And that's kind of what happened to me. And I was doing a lot of yoga at the time. That really helped me. So I started a yoga wear line inspired by healing crystals. And
That's so cool.
yeah, all my designs, I take images of healing crystals, blow it up, we print it onto fabric, and then we cut and sew the leggings from there. So you're wearing like a image of a crystal.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it was done. Like I started this when nobody was making yoga wear. I mean, yeah, Lululemon was around, but they're a niche.
Hmm.
Um, Aloe Yoga wasn't around, Beyond Yoga wasn't around. A lot of these yoga brands weren't around. Nike wasn't making yoga clothes. So there was a total opening in the market for it.
Yeah.
And it was so I'm like an OG of yoga, I think
Hmm.
so.
Like one of the starters, one of the beginners that got into it.
That got into it, but I wasn't able to scale, unfortunately, because I think God had other plans for me. And that's also, I write about in my book as well. Like, um, destiny is a moving target, and you need to move with it and follow the breadcrumbs that the universe leaves
Hmm.
for you. And amazing things can happen. But some of the things you thought would happen maybe won't, but maybe
Yeah.
something better for you is around the corner, which I really do believe, if we're on the path, um,
Hmm.
right path. So So I started my yoga wear line and it took about a year to get off the ground, got it off the ground. That was a whole up and down crazy roller coaster ride. Lots of
Hmm.
were there. Then it was doing really well. I got my marketing in place and I started this from part-time job money. And then for about 5 years, it supported me completely. And I was just selling from my apartment in LA from here. And then
Hmm.
I got this inspiration to write a book. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta do this. This has to happen. I gotta
Hmm.
tell all the other confused girls out there, like, what's up? You know, like I gotta
What's going on?
I want to tell them what I needed to hear. And and that there's like if you can use your confusion as a superpower to propel you forward. You can actually use confusion. Like it's actually
I
your great
love that.
virtue.
Hmm. I love that your story, it's such a testament to the fact that the best things come out of when you feel like everything's falling apart. Because I kind of went through a similar thing you did. I was going to school to be a teacher and then all of a sudden I ended up having a podcast, you know what I mean? So things just tend to go in the way you would have never expected. But once you start following what feels right, that's kind of when it comes out. And I feel like it's in kind of your 20s as a girl when things just start feeling crazy and not aligning and you don't really know what to do. So I love that you're like, I'm gonna write a book that's gonna help all these girls out and know that it's okay for these things to happen.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think the 20s, and I write about this in my book, the 20s are a really difficult time because for some reason you don't think you're going to be alive after 30. Like for some
Yeah.
reason, I don't know what
It
it
doesn't
is.
even cross your mind.
It's
Yeah.
just like 30 is very old and you're washed up and I think that's the way they used to kind of treat women like they were washed up when they were out of their 20s. They weren't beautiful, they weren't as interesting but it's so cool because now it's like women are writing books about being in their 70s and women are talking about things they never talked about like menopause and cycle hacking for your periods and
Yeah.
just all these cool different things we're starting to talk about now and women are doing amazing things and are so gorgeous as they get older. And so this I feel like the pressure is kind of slowly easing off of the 20s
Hmm.
because I feel like it was you need to accomplish everything in your 20s. You need to find the career, the man, the kids, the house. And that's just not reality. And if you did get all of those things in your 20s, in your 30s, you'd probably not want to have any of them.
Yeah, seriously.
So it's like, I just think, do adult things when you're an adult.
Hmm.
And some people do mature quicker than others. But I even know for myself at 28, I was not mature enough. But that was me. Some people are very mature at a younger age and it works for them. We're all very different.
Hmm.
So that's why I also, wanted to write this book because I wanted to give women permission to figure out who they are and find themselves and then lead their own unique path, whatever that is. If it's having a family, if it's starting a business, if it's traveling around the world, whatever it be, I want to empower you to do it.
Yes, I love that. You have like a quote that goes along with your business. Beauty begins the moment you decide to be yourself. I feel like that kind of goes along a lot with what you were saying, but elaborate a little bit more on what you mean by that.
Well, I think, you know, okay, so I'm going to take this in the physical form, but it's physical, it's inward, it's everything, right?
Mhm.
Um, when I was younger, and in high school and college, the it girls were like Britney Spears and Paris Hilton, and everybody was blonde and skinny, and that's what I wanted to be. So I dyed my hair platinum blonde. I would even believe like my eyebrows were this weird kind of oranges brown color because I'd like try to make them lighter. Um,
Mhm.
and I would try to be skinny and because I'm a very hourglass figure, I didn't understand that that was a good thing back
Mhm.
then. And
Yeah.
so I was trying to be something I wasn't. And I was pretty. I was a pretty girl. I was a cute girl, but there was this. I even look back at pictures of me and I'm like, gosh, that does not feel like me. That does not look like me. And even my really close friends are like, that doesn't look like you. It doesn't feel like you. Now, many years later, people say I'm younger. People say I'm the best I've ever looked. And I think that's also because I'm being who I am. Even my physical appearance, like I show off my curves now. I love my curves. This is all my natural dark hair. And I'm not saying it's bad to dye your hair or anything, but I didn't believe I was beautiful if I wasn't blonde. That's how I actually felt inside.
Hmm.
And now I'm like, I'm beautiful, whatever my hair color is. You know? It's like,
Yeah.
and so it's like your inner world, when you're comfortable with yourself and you love yourself, it gets reflected on your outer world too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, something I always think is your energy enters the room before you do. And when you feel the most yourself, people can feel that. Like anybody can think of a time they've been in public and they notice a girl who is just glowing, and it's because she feels the most herself. It doesn't really matter what hair color she has, it doesn't matter any of those things because she just loves herself and you can feel that. So I love your quote because it just stands as such a testament to that when you feel the most yourself, you will look the most beautiful on the outside.
Yeah, and it's very true. It's very true. And confidence is attractive as well. And that's like
Mhm.
not a fake confidence, not a narcissistic confidence, but actually like I associate confidence with knowing thyself.
Yeah.
It's not acting cool or trying to act cool or having money or having a new car, cool new car, whatever. Confidence to me is knowing thyself.
Yeah. And it makes me think of kind of what you were saying earlier, how a lot of the time we put our worth on outward things. I think real confidence is when you don't have your worth on anything other than what you think of yourself and how you feel about yourself.
Yes, exactly. And that's a lifelong journey because I feel so good about myself, really. And I'm
Mhm.
I'm like very happy. But I still will get dragged into insecurities, especially when I'm ovulating. Period.
That always seems to be the time.
But
Seriously.
ovulation for me is like really crazy. Even my physical appearance changes, your skin gets like more clear because you're trying to, your body wants
Uh-huh.
to mate. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
What happens. But I I'll pop into I'll go insecure. And but now I have the awareness to see it. And I'm like,
Hmm.
that's like adolescent Giovanna. Oh, poor
You're like,
thing.
she's coming out.
Like she's coming out. She's
Mhm.
feeling bad. Like let's
Yeah.
soothe her. Let's
Hmm.
stay inside. Let's not be around anybody. Let's go on a walk by the beach and
Hmm.
let's soothe you.
Yeah.
So we really do have everything already that we need inside of ourselves. We really, really do. And it's just having the ability and the tools to be able to access it. And then you can get through any obstacles that life throws at you.
Yes, I love that because I think not enough people talk about that you're gonna go through periods of insecurity even after you've healed, or you're gonna go through periods of not feeling like your best self or questioning what you're doing. But when you are secure in yourself and you kind of are aware, like you were saying, you're aware of these things going on, you can get out of it a lot easier. It's not as earth-shattering as it had been in the past.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because you kind of go, and I write about this. My dad used to say, Giovanna, stay in your lane. So when you're like looking outward, ooh, what are they doing? I want that. Or why do they have that and I don't? It's like, no, no, stay in your lane. You have a unique path that is completely different than somebody else's path.
Yes.
That's why you can't compare yourself to other people. Like you're on your own little warrior journey. We're all like little warriors, you know?
Hmm.
So it's a real big disservice to yourself to compare to other people. That's a very big disservice.
Hmm. Oh, I agree 100%. I think we forget so often how we're all not alike, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be. So we're not aligned with what other people have. We're not aligned with the path that they're on because we have our very own one. So I love that analogy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's like, how can you compare the beauty of the Pacific Ocean to the beauty of the Grand Canyon? How could you say like what's more beautiful? Some people are going to like the Grand Canyon better. Some people are going to like the Pacific Ocean better, but let's just all agree that they're pretty like amazing works of Mother Nature. Like we all can agree upon that.
Mhm.
So, and I feel that's the way people are, even when it comes to attraction. I write, I have a chapter called Decoding Romantic Relationships, and I talk about attraction and why we're attracted to certain people and what all goes into it. And so it's not like just because somebody is attracted to somebody else and not you, it doesn't mean you're less than.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you're like less amazing or less interesting or less beautiful or,
Mhm.
it's totally about them and what's going on with them and not about you.
Yeah, finding beauty in the difference and yeah, different people's opinions and different people's views. Everybody's going to view people's beauty differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, with your book, you do have a pre-order giveaway coming up. So, tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so if you pre-order my book, and here it is, I got the hard copies last week. They're so pretty.
Amazing. So cute.
So cute, right? It's called Confused Girl, Find Your Peace in the Chaos. And the giveaway is if you pre-order, you will enter to win a 2-night stay in Maui in an oceanfront room at my favorite hotel in Maui. I stayed there and literally you can leave the door open and hear the waves as you go to sleep.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's amazing because a lot of the newer hotels, they're built way far away from the water
Hmm.
because of environmental stuff. I don't know, whatever. If they're built newer, they can't be on the water. But this was built, before, so it's right on the water. And then I'm also giving away $100 gift card to my store. So, and I'll provide the giveaway link. So,
Oh, perfect. Yes, everyone make sure to go enter that because first off, your activewear being based off of healing crystals, that is like the coolest thing I've ever heard, and that's so unique. Like that is so cool. I don't hear anyone doing anything like that. So everybody make sure you go and enter that giveaway because who wouldn't want a trip to Maui? And $100 gift card is crazy.
yeah, and you can order it in any format. You can order it in audio, digital, hard copy, so whatever you fancy.
Perfect. I'm so excited for your book to come out. I love that it aligns so much with just, yeah, being a confused girl, not knowing what you want to do, and literally the steps to get you to that next chapter.
Yeah, and also not being ashamed of being confused,
Yeah.
that's okay, and taking the shame
Embracing
of
it.
it,
Yeah.
embracing it, and looking at it as your own unique adventure.
Yes, I love that. So thank you, Giovanna, for joining us today, giving us your insight. I'll make sure to have all of her links in the show notes. So wherever you're listening to the podcast or if you're watching it, you can go and check out a little bit more.
I think it's really important with all the craziness going on in the world and everybody's watching the news and this and that. I think it's really important to find like little joys in your day. So
Hmm.
like coffee in the morning is my joy. Am I like, I'm gonna go on a walk by the beach in a little bit and that's my joy. And just really taking that in and just taking a moment to settle it
Hmm.
yourself. I think that really can like shift the trajectory of your day.
Oh yeah, I think it's everybody gets stuck in like the negative mindset, especially in like the world we live in right now.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's so important to find the little things that make you happy in your day.
exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Giovanna, and I will see you guys next week.